This is number 33 from page 144, and it has to do with literal equations, and in this case we're solving for n, and n is stuck inside the parentheses. Alright? So we have no choice but to try to get it out by distributing. The tricky thing is, what do you distribute? I mean, someone said we distribute the invisible 1 here. Well, that doesn't really change anything, and then what do we do about that d? The other person said, well, we distribute the a. Well, remember, you can't do that because you can't distribute across an operation sign. So one thing you could do to make this problem easier, is there anybody who knows? Because I'm going to rewrite it. Does anybody know what I'm going to put?
A
plus
dn minus 1d.
d onto n minus 1. Remember how I always like to rewrite everything? Right, yeah, I'm not going to go ahead and do it. You thought I was solving it, but I'm not yet. I will, and we will now. But see how that makes it a lot easier. It makes it clear because we just switched the position of the d, and now we can proceed more or less normally. Now we can draw the rainbows, right? And Guyana, you want to tell us what we get? We got
L equals A plus dn
Yep.
minus d.
That's what you guys were saying, right? That looks like something else. A plus dn minus d, we're getting closer. We're trying to get this. We still got a lot of interference over here, a lot of letters and things in the way. Anybody want to tell us what the next thing is, Austin?
You can subtract A.
We subtract a on both sides. And, you know, it's painful, but I always write it out again. dn. It's kind of pleasant to see how it works out step by step. And once you get the habit of doing that, you'll feel good about that. Marshall, we're looking for n. We got two d's in the way. How do we take care of that d?
Add.
That's right.
To both sides.
Add to both sides. What do we get on the left-hand side?
L minus A plus D.
That's right. And we're almost there. Equals dn. To finish this off, what's in the way and how do we take care of it? Savan.
The D.
The d, what do we do to it? What?
Divide.
Divide by d on both sides. And we're done. Basically, I'm going to rewrite it. N equals L minus A plus D over D. And I'm going to put a big circle around it. And we're done. Please make sure that you're definitely focusing on that, right? Pepper's got a question. What is it?
On L minus A plus D, when you're dividing D, don't the two D's cancel out?
That's a good question. But see, they don't. They would if they were alone. Like they cancel here. But this is actually L minus A plus D over D. It's not just D over D. Do you know what I'm saying?
No, I don't.
It's L over D. If you want, you could do this, but I don't necessarily need to do it. It's L over D minus A over D plus D over D. If you do that, then yes, those cancel and give you 1. But then this is more complicated. We might as well just leave it like that. It's more complicated.
But then can you just do L minus A over D? Would that
Yeah,
still
because,
be
like-
the same
No,
equation?
no. Because what you have here is L over D
If D remains the same value, then what?
minus A over D. Hold on a second. Plus 1. See?
Yeah, then how come on the numerical problems where you have like 8 minus 4 plus 6 equals 6 over equals 6n? How come the 6's don't do the same thing as the D's do?
8 minus, if you have what? Sorry?
Like 8 minus 4 plus 6 equals 6D,
Okay.
6n or whatever.
Right.
And then you divide 6 on both sides.
Right.
Then how come?
Oh yeah, in that case well no, it's the same thing right there.
Then how come we don't keep the 6 in
That's
the
8
final?
over 6 plus or minus 4 over 6. I'll put it on pause. Hey, we're doing more absolute value stuff, and we're going to run through the same things we did yesterday to make sure that you understand different equations in the book. So let's try it. Here we go. Absolute value of x equals 5. There are two answers to this. Why? Pepper.
Because it could be positive or negative.
That's
I'm not
right.
absolutely sure.
The value for x, the unknown, could be positive or negative because the absolute value signs themselves say that anything inside this comes out positive. Yes?
I was going to say that if it's negative 5 and positive 5, they're both the same amount of distance away from 0.
Exactly. Absolute value of any number is the distance that it is on the number line from 0. That's what absolute value is. So now that's one thing to understand it conceptually. Really good to understand it. Like just do it. Like you just practice these and do it the same way with the same methods. There's something to be said about repetition. And that's what I keep driving home. And this is the repetition you have to do in both cases. And I want to see you write case 1. I know it's a pain. Case 2. But it's a pain for a reason. Because when you recognize and write this down, you won't forget. At least my curlicues are, I'm rushing them, but you know, usually 5, negative 5. That's a comma.
I think in chemistry we do, we put a plus sign, then a negative sign, then 5.
That's
Does that
also
work?
good. Or, there you go. That's all good. Those are all the answers. All right, number 20. This one here, absolute value of negative 8 plus absolute value of x plus absolute value of negative 8 plus negative 3 in the absolute value signs. What do? Should be straightforward, right? Yes, Austin.
We could start out by making the negatives positive.
Yep. Now keep that there. Be careful. Don't touch that one because we're not there yet. Shannon, what's absolute value of negative 8?
8.
Yeah, plus? We're good so far? That's pretty straightforward, right? I know some of you are going to be tempted to drop those signs. Don't drop them until you do the two cases. That's the rule. Never drop the absolute value signs until you write two cases out. That's the rule. I call it the brick. I know you got the crazy metaphors don't always work for you, but this is the brick. Yeah, I know, the bowling ball. This is the brick. What do you do to a brick if you're from the Orient and you're into Kung Fu? You karate chop it. Yeah, I'm not going to do it. I don't want to scare you because I know my Kung Fu and I don't want to scare you kids, but I'm telling you, if you know your Kung Fu,
Oh my god.
the break, you see what I'm saying? Mr. Berman. You missed it. Mr. Bernie, do you know Kung Fu? Kung Fu. Anyway.
Walks out of the classroom.
Kung Fu on this. Kung Fu on the brick. Look what happens. Case 1 and case 2. Positive and negative. Kung Fu on the brick. The deal is though, you can't do your Kung Fu on the brick until it's set up. If there's anything near it, you can't Kung Fu that brick right now. Because that 8's in the way, you might trip on it. So you got to get rid of the 8. So here you go, minus 8, minus 8. Guess what we got? Absolute value x equals 3. Now you can Kung Fu the brick. So who wants to do it?
Wow.
I mean, I just decided to go to negative 8 and I canceled them. Okay? You could have gone in 3 is 11, and 11 minus 8 is 3. That would have been fine too. You got the same answer, no problem, right? All right, so who understands the brick? Is Marshall going to do the brick? Are you going to karate chop it?
Yeah.
Come on up and do it. Let's do it. You got to do two cases. Okay, now do the two cases. Now you got to write them. X equals 3, x equals negative 3. See, when you chop it in half. X equals 3 and x equals negative 3. Draw them up over there.
Go Marshall.
Write it quickly. X equals 3.
X
Or x equals negative 3. There it is. That's it. Thank you. Have a seat. Thank you, Marshall. So, guess what he did, folks? There he is. Marshall, he chopped up the brick, and it only chops into two pieces. That's how it works. This is the brick. You chop it. It's positive and negative case. Positive, negative, every time. 2 absolute value x plus 3 absolute value x plus 4 equals 24, number 43. What's our first step?
Subtract 4.
Subtract 4. Good job, Pepper.
You're smart.
2 absolute value x plus 3 absolute value x equals 20. Now what do? We can actually add those. It's a little weird, but we have 2 of this and 2 of that. We get 5 absolute value x equals 20. We divide by 5 on both sides. We get absolute value x equals 4. Now we chop it. We can't chop it until we get it down to be alone. This is the only time you can chop it. What do you get when you chop it?
X equals 4 or negative 4.
X equals 4 or x equals negative 4. There we go. That's it right there. Guys, have an amazing night and do your homework and see you tomorrow.
Yeah.
See you, thanks. Marshall, me and Marshall. What about Marshall? Hey Marshall, say hi.
No one cares about Marshall.
Yeah, they do. No one cares about anything.